All right, so this morning we've been talking about how to create a basic API, a basic REST endpoint, a list of basic REST endpoints using our Node backend. Sorry guys, someone else is trying to join. All right, so that's okay, yeah, but obviously now we need to identify an appropriate way of communicating, of integrating this list of endpoints with our frontend. So let's have a look to our setup. This is our backend, yeah? The backend is running on port 3001. The frontend, if you pay attention to my package.json, the frontend, my frontend, is running on port 3005. Let me change these numbers a bit. You know, with Node, I mean, you got some flexibility, right? You can put whatever you want here. I mean, not whatever you want here. If you try to start the app on port number 1, probably you're going to get problems because your system doesn't allow you to run applications on a given range of ports. But, you know, 3,000, even 4,000, 5,000, 8,000, that range of numbers should be okay. So, let me show you something. If I got now my frontend, so I got the frontend running on port 3000, yeah, 3005. And also I got my backend running on port 3006. So I want to, from the frontend, I want to send a message to the backend. Leave me the list of, guys, sorry, there is some background noise coming from Elena. Thank you, Elena. All right, so I got the list of animals. For instance, we can talk about any topic: animals, cities, cars, fashion brands. I don't care, right? So we want to fetch a list of things from the frontend. So the frontend will request the backend, hey, give me the list of stuff, give me the list of animals, and the backend will return dog, cat, whatever. Yeah, that's the idea. However, there is a problem in this story. So, if you remember last week, we talked a bit about security, and I told you that by default, that operation is not really valid. You cannot get something from port 3005 to port 3006. That's not gonna work that easily. That's why on task number 23, when you deploy your app to Heroku, what you do essentially is you merge both front-end and back-end servers. So in other words, if you are working with a single server, it doesn't matter if it runs on this port, in that port, but if you got every single server, you don't have that sort of security issues. But at the moment, we don't have that, right? We got two servers. We got the front-end server and we got the back-end server. So I would like to show you how can we connect two servers, yeah? Bypassing any security issue somehow. That's the idea of the session, right? So first of all, what we got on the package.json? We got something called start frontend and something called start backend. So every time you want to run your app, you need both servers, the frontend and the server. So technically speaking, you could run npm run start frontend, yeah, enter, and then you open a new terminal, and then you run npm run start backend. You can run both commands separately, and that's okay. However, it's not very efficient. Yeah? You know, it's because if you always want to run them together, what's the point of running separate commands? So let me introduce a new package some of you are familiar with already, which is called NPMRunAll. So NPMRunAll is a very convenient package whenever you want to trigger multiple tasks, multiple scripts in one single action. Yeah? So let me show you how it works. First of all, we have to install it, npm install or npm I, and then you type npm-run, that's all. That's the name of the package. Of course, if you search it on Google, you'll find all the official resources, documentation, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah? NPMRunAll. Let's see if it works, or if otherwise we need to remove the package log.json file, as we had to do earlier on this morning. So what happened when we got the NPMRunAll package installed? Then we can add a new task in our scripts. Yeah? We can call it however you want. So let me call it, for instance, I don't know, start all. Yeah? Start all, for instance, is a way to say, hey, I want to start the front end and I want to start the back end, or start everything. Yeah, I don't care. I don't really care how you call that task, but I want to create a task to start both servers in parallel. So the way NPMRunAll works is we need to type NPM run all, and now you see, first of all, we got an error. That's what we got this morning. Can anyone tell me what should we do whenever we got that error? That's correct, Vicky. We have to remove package log.json. I don't care what that file is about. Let's just get rid of it. And now let's install again, right? So npm run all, npm install, npm run all. All right. So the task is you type npm run all, and then you pass a list of tasks you want to run separated by space. So obviously here the tasks we want to run is first of all start frontend, and then we'll have to run start backend. Yeah. So npm run all start frontend space start backend. And now we need to be careful with something. When we run npm run all, by default it will run the tasks sequentially. So first of all it will start the frontend, and once that task is completed it will start the backend. Will that be okay? What do you think? Why not, Maxime? All right, so guys, do you remember what happened when you start, for instance, the frontend? Can you interact with the terminal when the server is running? No, that's correct. You cannot interact with the terminal, and the reason is when you start the frontend, the server is busy. This is not like unzipping a file that it starts and it finishes, and then you can do whatever you want with the extracted file or folder. No, when you run a server, that's a long-running process. It remains running forever. Yeah, because you don't know if your customers will access your app in 1 minute, in 1 hour, or in 1 month. Yeah, so we cannot wait until the front end finishes to start the backend. That's not going to work, because these two processes will run forever until we kill them, of course. Yeah, but unless we take any action, these two processes run forever. In other words, we want to trigger both start frontend and start backend tasks in parallel. We want to start them at the same time, and we want to keep them running forever. So the way we can tell NPMRunAll, please don't wait for one task to complete before running the other, blah, 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 is by simply typing -p. Yeah? Stands for parallel, like, hey, I want to run this task in parallel. So hopefully if we do that, we'll be able to run both front-end and back-end servers in parallel. And then, because that's still work in progress, I told you before that from the front end, I want to create a React component, and I want to display the list of animals. But that's not going to work because both the front end and the backend server are working on different ports. So for security reason, that operation, that communication is not going to be allowed. However, let me show you a very simplistic way of workarounding, if you accept the expression, of getting rid of the problem. On package.json, you can add in the root level, be careful guys, I've seen so many times developers adding that property inside of dependencies, scripts. No, be careful. That's a root level property of package.json. You can add a new property called Proxy. So Proxy, I'll explain what that means in a minute. In here, we can specify, to simplify the things a bit, so where is our backend? So we can pass the endpoint of our backend. That is going to be localhost 3006. Remember, we got frontend running on 3005 and backend running on 3006. So what that proxy means? That proxy means, A, whenever the user tries to connect with that server, trust it. Yeah, I'm oversimplifying what the proxy does, yeah? But I'm establishing some sort of trust relationship between my frontend running on 3005 and my backend running on 3006. Without that line, communication won't be available. It won't be permitted. Okay? And I would like to invite you to try to connect frontend and backend without setting up the proxy. Any questions? Yeah. So the way it will work is, Maxim. So the front-end will take a request. If the front-end knows what to do, if the front-end understands what to do, so for instance, in your portfolio, most of you are creating a list of URLs like contact or about or projects, or skills, whatever. Yeah, you are setting up some routes in your front-end. Yeah, some routes with React router DOM. In this particular case, there is nothing to do with the backend because the frontend, React, understands what the hell it has to happen whenever the user requests these URLs. Yeah? However, what happened if we are trying from the frontend to call /rest/animals? Will React router DOM know what to do with it? Not at all. That's correct, Maxime, because we didn't specify, the frontend didn't specify what to do when the user requests /rest/animals. The frontend understands these routes, but it doesn't understand that route. It's not the responsibility of the frontend. That belongs to the backend. So thanks to the proxy, we're telling, hey, before you show an error to the user like page not found, before you give up, before you blow up, before you fail, try to connect with that server, whatever that is. And let's see if that external server is able to satisfy your request. Okay? So whenever we call /rest/animals, our frontend will say, hey, by myself, I have no idea what to do. However, I'm going to do something. I'm going to send a request to that guy to see if he or she can, deal with that request. So then our backend will essentially go through that list of endpoints and it will say, hey, someone is asking /rest/animals. Do I have /rest/animals? Yeah, I got it here, line number 7. I'm going to return a list of animals to the frontend, which is what you get here. That's absolutely right. Maxime. Frontend first, and if the frontend doesn't know what to do, then it will check on the proxy, so it will check on the backend. Cool. That's all right. Any other questions, guys? I can see. No. Hello. No. Cool. All right. So let's do something. Let's prove the theory, right? So I got my proxy. I got my start everything. So let's run both front-end and back-end servers and see if at least they work individually. I'm not connecting them. I'm not trying to display in a list of animals or whatever, but I want to see if both servers run in parallel. So that's task number 22, I believe, in Conflicts, right? So npm run, and now the name of the task. Start everything. npm run start everything. So if my theory is correct, this is going to start both front-end and back-end servers individually. They are not connected yet. Look. Starting the front end, you see, that's cool. What is it? Here you go. You see, port 3005 React scripts, that's the front end, and then look, node-mon, blah, 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 starting the backend. So it is definitely trying to start both front end and backend. And then look, you see, we got our backend server running. That's perfect. And what about the front end? I can't tell personally. Here you go. You see, after a few seconds, starting the development server, which is really cool. So now, look, I didn't click anywhere. So now my system is redirecting the control to the web browser, and this is hopefully gonna open the frontend. So this is gonna display whatever my default frontend is. Let me have a look. So if I open app.js in my frontend, this should just display hi message. Because that's taking a while, let me check if the backend is responding. Localhost 3006, yeah, /rest/animals. Remember, we did that this morning. So let's see if that endpoint works. That's good. So you see, backend is ready. And what about the frontend? Cool, frontend is ready. You see, guys, I got two servers: the frontend, React, and the backend, the API. Any questions? Yep. That's correct. That's absolutely it. That's absolutely it, Maxime. It's just for convenience. You don't want to restart manually Node every time you change something, correct? You have to, if you want, okay, let's do that. Let's do that. So, all right, I'm gonna remove the cat. And look, Maxime, look at the terminal. So now, because NodeMon detected a change, is restarting. Yeah. Well, if you refresh the page, no, of course, guys, something important. The backend is a reactive server. It only works when you request some data. When Google gives you results, when you request some data. So the backend works like that. The backend is not gonna automatically, refresh. So every time you hit the backend, then it will check what data is available at that time. Manually, of course. Okay, yeah, cool. Any other questions, guys? No? All right, so then let's jump. I think we've done all the boring part of this workshop. Now let's try to do something a bit more entertaining. I'm gonna create a new component back to the front end, yeah? That's something that we did on Thursday, right? That's actually what we did on the last board challenge, remember? So I'm going to create a new component called animals, and I then want to display my list of animals. So look, function animals. I'm gonna literally do the same thing I did on Thursday. So I'm gonna follow the same patterns and the same anti-patterns. Based on that, actually, can anyone guide me through that process about how to display that list of animals, cat, dog, spider, whatever, from the backend? We need to fetch, that's correct. So remember, with fetch, the way it works is you set up the endpoint, and then we'll do a bunch of things. Something you should try to avoid is never do that, guys. Never. Why? Because if you do that, or whatever the port is, I don't care. Even if it works, it may work locally, actually. It may work locally. However, as soon as you try to deploy that to Heroku, to AWS, anywhere into the cloud, that's not gonna work. Yeah? Because localhost makes sense just for you working locally. As soon as you change the data to the cloud, that's not gonna work. In other words, if you have control on your data, always keep the roots like that. REST/animals. You see, without any HTTP, HTTPS, without any localhost. So what will React do? React will say, hey, is the data available from HTTP localhost 3005/REST/animals? Is the frontend server facilitating that information, guys? Are you sure? Do we? That's correct. That's correct. We don't have any React router DOM. We don't have any routing in the front end. So the front end doesn't really know what to do with that endpoint. Yeah? That's not going to work. However, before giving up, React will check the proxy. It will say, wait a minute. Please check here as well. So then it will send a request to the other endpoint at the port 3006, which is the backend. So is the backend gonna return the data, guys? Yes, it should, right? It should at least. So then eventually that should work. So you see there are some operations running in the background under the hood. Yeah. But the important thing is, please don't hard code the local host, because then sooner or later it will stop working. So we got the fetch. We are gonna run a workshop about asynchronous JavaScript. So there are some conventions here you have to follow about how fetch works. Remember, fetch is a very important mechanism in JavaScript to get data from the outside world, to get data from any external API. External could be our backend, or could be the backend written by Donald Trump. I don't care. Yeah, external data. So the way fetch works is, you guys just need to get used to the syntax. So first of all, you have to write that line. That line will transform the data offered by the backend into something readable by the frontend. And you may be thinking, hey, but wait a minute, but the data is readable by the frontend. That's an array. Yeah? An array of strings written in JavaScript in the backend can be easily managed by the frontend because it's still JavaScript. And that's true. However, don't forget something, guys. We are using something called REST. REST is a standard protocol that can be extremely useful to communicate any frontend with any backend. And here, what we are talking about is frontend written in JavaScript versus backend written in JavaScript. And that's fine, JavaScript versus JavaScript, easy peasy. However, don't forget that you may create an app for Android, for instance, written in Java. And that Android application written in Java may consume our endpoints written in JavaScript. So how is that gonna work? Because here in between, we are not sending any JavaScript array. We are not sending any JavaScript data. We have some sort of communication protocol. And that communication protocol is based on what we call JSON. Have you heard about JSON before, guys? In JSON, a JavaScript object notation, that's correct. So JSON, to simplify things, you remember, guys, we got HTML and then we got JSX that are very, very similar, but there are some subtle differences. So here that's pretty much the same. So you can think that, for instance, you got JavaScript data and then you got JSON data. Very, 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 very similar, but with some differences. JSON is a communication standard. So if you have an application written in Java or PHP or ASP.NET, C#, whatever, they will always understand JSON, because JSON is, even though that was originally proposed for JavaScript object notation in reality today is considered a generic standard. So you can send data in JSON format back and forth between any application, regardless of what their language is. Yeah? So that's the communication channel, data sent in JSON format. And that's why when you use fetch, you need to do that intermediate step to transform that JSON into something that JavaScript fully understands. Yeah? Once again, I'm oversimplifying that journey, but just to try to explain why we need to transform the data coming from the backend. And finally, you type then again. Once again, we'll see what that then means shortly. But for now, eventually, you've got your data. So your data is going to be what? Whatever the backend returns. So what REST/animals is going to return? Let me open the backend side by side. So hopefully we'll be able to see what's going on. So let me try to play with the resolution a bit. There you go. You see? So whenever we call REST/animals, data in theory should be an array of cat, dog, and spider. Yeah, that's the idea. So now my question is, how can I, guys, display these three animals into my user interface written in React? A state, okay, that. So wait a minute. So there are a few things here. State and map. I agree with both, but you need to guide me a little bit more about the steps I have to follow, right? Okay, go for it, Elena. Yep. What technique are we? What pattern are we following here, guys? Yeah, but when we have square brackets and we pass a comma separated list of things, what was that? Correct, Lauren. Array destructuring. Yeah, that's correct. Yep. Okay. Why empty array, Elena? I like that. I think that's very clever. Guys, we know animals is an array, right? So here we are essentially preparing the algorithm like, hey, animals is going to be a list of 20 animals, whatever. But by default, it's going to be an empty list. So if you initialize it to an empty array, you are, first of all, telling your colleagues what the hell animals is. And then you are preventing from having some issues later on, because animals will always be an array. Could be an empty array or an array of 25 elements. I don't care, but it will always be an array. What else? Set animals. No, I don't want to use map here. I just want to save the data into my state. That's correct, Lauren. I mean, we got the data. You can rename it, guys. I mean, for readability purposes, it may help to call it animals. It doesn't really matter. You can call it Brexit if you want, right? But I think that makes the exercise a bit more readable. So once you get the list of animals, you save it into the state. All right, and then what else? Return, wait a minute, return, okay, return what? Parentheses, all right. Okay, let's put a div, not against it, yeah, not against that. And then what else? All right, can anyone help Vicky? How can we go through the list of animals and display them one after the other? All right, that sounds good. Let's leave it here, Vicky. All right, because I know you know how to do it. Can anyone apart from Vicky tell me animals don't map and then what? Animal. Curly brackets, are you sure? Imagine that I want to surround each animal with a div, for instance, because I want to add some styling later on. You put the key here. Ah, the key, sorry. Sorry. Like that. Animals in plural.id. All right, question, guys. What type of data animal is? Wrong. It's a string, Lauren. Animals in plural is an array. What is it? Sorry, let's pay attention to the animals. Yeah, animals is an array. So animals.map. If we go through each individual element, what we got? Strings. Yeah. So animal is the name of the animal: dog, cat, spider, whatever. And what else, guys? Animal. Yeah. All right, we got an error. Can anyone tell me? That's correct. We need to import it. How do we import it? Like that, with curly brace, like that. Guys, I know you know how it works. What I don't know so far is whether you can provide the right instructions. That's why I'm just literally trying to copy and paste somehow what you're telling me. That's correct. So use state, because it's exported as non-default, we need to surround it with curly braces. Yeah? All right, even though VS Code tells me I'm doing something wrong, I'm 85% sure that's correct. Here you go. It took just 1 minute to reevaluate that. And now, guys, let's go to the browser. So let's do something. I'm just gonna refresh my page. So if everything went well, I should have a list of animals. Oh, look at that. You see? It works. It works. I got my list of animals coming from the backend. So if I change the list of animals, so if I add another one, a cow, for instance, yeah? Then, sorry guys, I'm better with sharks. You see that now I got our fourth animal in the screen. What happened if I got an empty list of animals? An empty screen. That's correct. That's correct. It's not failing or anything like that. Yeah, it's not failing. But because there is nothing to iterate, then we got nothing. So yeah. Then when we iterate, oh, the list of animals. So the integration is working correctly. Any questions? So if I show you that code, if you get that code in a job interview, would you approve? All right. So then, Maxime, what you need to do this afternoon is, first of all, rewatch the workshop we recorded on Thursday, because I did nothing new here. So that code is something we already reviewed on Thursday, and then rewatch both workshops, yeah, from today. So if I show you that code, if you see that code, and then the employer is asking you, all right, you got a pull request, and you have to essentially approve it, reject it, suggest any change. Tell me, would you approve it or not? All right. All right. So I'm gonna do something. So Vicky, you got 1 point on Friday, so I'm gonna remove that point. So now this way you got -1 points, because I asked you a question on Thursday. You replied to that question brilliantly, but now you are unable to defend what you told me on Friday. That was 3 days ago, right? So, guys, I don't want to tell you how to solve the problem, but there is a huge problem here, and we covered that. Cool. That's fine. Yeah, okay. You got -1 points, Vicky. The employer is not gonna give you the option to change your mind. All right. So look, show me. Sorry, let me show you. So if I open DevTools, it's very slow, and actually it's very slow because of a reason. It is so slow because now my front end is ruining my hardware. The front end is constantly checking with the backend. It's fetching data again, every single not every single millisecond, but a lot. You see, I cannot even, it's very complicated to deal with my browser. You see, let's see if I can eventually show you some data. How many times do we want to call the backend? How many times in theory we should call the backend, guys? Yes, once. That's correct. You call the backend, give me the data, I got the data, thank you very much, see you soon, and that's it, right? However, look, I cannot even show you. Look. We start getting data, 5,000 messages. You see, something is not right here. Something is not right. So I'm gonna kill that tab because I cannot even change the URL. So this is completely dead. So I'm gonna try to open a new tab. So my laptop may die at any moment, but let me try again. So I'm gonna try to, oh God. So you see the consequences, right? I cannot interact with my application anymore. It's not even with my application, with my laptop. That's why you need to be so careful with these things. I promise I'm seriously trying to bring my laptop back. I can't. So imagine, guys, that you build that piece of code. Do you see the consequences? In 2015, I built a new sign-up journey for Sky TV. So that sign-up journey may have been consumed by 11 million customers in the UK. 11 million customers. Imagine I break 11 million laptops. Not breaking them literally, like they had to trust them. But half of them may have to restart the laptop. Yeah. So that's serious. You need to be very careful with these things. So if I open a new tab, hopefully, because it's been running for 20 seconds, hopefully, and I'm not even convinced, to be honest, but hopefully in this occasion, look. You see? I wanted to call the backend just once. However, after 1 minute or even less than 1 minute running, look at the request counter. 2,000, almost 2,000 requests in 1 minute. So that's insane. You should be very careful. There is something massively wrong here. And I'm not going to explain what is wrong. Yeah, I want you to do a bit of research. And on the 18th of June, Max will explain the reasons why we shouldn't call the backend, or how to solve the problem to call the backend just once instead of 2,000 or 20,000 or 20 million times. What else, guys? We'll see. All right. I give you minus half a point then. All right, sounds a bit aggressive, guys. Yeah, so question. Imagine that we managed to solve that problem. Yeah, because we solved that. So let's ignore that. Is there anything else we can improve? Okay, yeah, that's a fair point, definitely. What happens if we got two animals with the same name? Fair enough. Yeah. No, I wasn't thinking about that. But if your API, if your API may report duplicated names, that may happen, right? Depending on what you're trying to do, then of course, look, I cannot even type, so my laptop is seriously struggling. So then you can pass a second argument, which is the index, and then you assign the key as the index, because the index is going to be unique, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 million, whatever. Yeah. Cool, fair enough. Any other improvement point? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I see what you mean, but I don't want to do that right now because I will have to change so many things. So Vicky's asking whether we can. No, I'm gonna. Sorry, Vicky. Yes, you want. If you want, you can. So what Vicky wants is essentially creating another component called animal that may resave the name, and then look. That's okay, Vicky, if you want. You see? So can anyone tell me? Mind that that's the code I have. So we can probably get rid of some unnecessary breaklines. So can anyone tell me what should I change to connect with the animal component? Yeah. What else? That's it, like that? Animal, correct. Yeah, that's fine. You see, that's a good idea because we are moving things around. Why is it not working, guys? Look, there are 2 errors. Yeah, you can pass the index, or let me recommend you to do something else. Why don't you use the index right here? Then you don't need to pass an index. Still doesn't work. Why it doesn't work? That's correct. We're using name. You see, guys, can you see it's grayed out? Line number 29. So VS Code is telling you name is declared, but this value is never read. Like, hey, that's pointless, right? That's not being used at all. So you can rename it here. I mean, if I were you, that's okay. I will probably, I'll tell you something. I will probably call it animal. You know, I'm not a big fan of rebranding my semantics. So if my animal is called animal, I will use animal all the way through. Yeah, top to bottom. So yeah, we can do that if you want. And then if we go back to the web browser and you check the front end, what is my front end? I had to kill it. Sorry guys, I need to kill it quickly because you know the front end is wrong. But let me quickly show it to you. You see, still works, And now the code is a bit cleaner because we are delegating the responsibility into a new component. So if the animal component becomes more complicated, you know, I don't need to change, I don't need to touch the animals component. I will do all the complexity in here. Anything else we can improve? Interesting, Elena. Remember, can anyone tell me, classic job interview question, what a React component can return? What type of data or data structures can a React component return? String, fair enough, yeah, string. What else? Okay, yeah, I mean, of course, string numbers, nil, undefined, but talking about data, chicken, yeah, what type? So, when talking about JSX, how can the JSX be returned? First of all, one root element, yeah? Yeah? What else? So multiple elements via fragment. Remember fragments, guys? Or what else? We know that. You should know that already. Multiple elements via array. So a React component. So you get a function called hello. That function can return hello, comma, welcome. That code is the same. Can anyone tell me what's the alternative if I don't want to return an array? How can I build literally the same component without using an array?